The world of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has never been short of drama, emotion, and unpredictable twists. But Season 15 marks one of the most transformative chapters yet for longtime cast member Kyle Richards. After years of questioning whether she could continue the show, she enters this season with a surprising sense of clarity. For the first time in a long time, she feels lighter, healing, growing, and stepping into a version of herself she wasn't sure she'd ever meet. And that journey begins with a word she never imagined applying to her life: single. For most of her adult life, Kyle has been married. Her identity, routine, and relationships were all intertwined with her long marriage to Mauricio Umansky. Admitting that she is single feels almost foreign to her. The word doesn't slide off her tongue easily. She pauses before saying it, but she's learning to embrace this new chapter. She's not dating, not looking, not interested in apps or setups. Instead, for the first time in decades, she is discovering the peace that comes with simply being alone. Her nights are spent at home with her daughters, not in crowded restaurants or loud events. She doesn't drink, she doesn't party, and she doesn't feel any pressure to jump back into the dating pool. She's learning that she can stand on her own, and that realization is surprisingly freeing. Yet, as much as her identity is shifting, her connection to Mauricio remains complicated. Their relationship today doesn't fit into traditional definitions. They aren't officially together, but they aren't officially apart. Kyle calls them life partners. They still communicate every day. They co-parent beautifully. They care deeply about each other's happiness and well-being, but are they reconciling? Divorcing? Staying in this limbo forever? According to Kyle, the needle hasn't moved. Years of shared memories, a built life, 4 daughters, and decades of family history make any next step incredibly complicated. She's not ready to force an outcome, neither is he. So for now, they exist in a quiet middle ground that works until it doesn't. But things get sticky when Mauricio appears in the Season 15 trailer having a conversation with Dorit Kemsley, reopening old tensions. Both women remember past issues very differently, especially the incidents involving messages, memes, and communication that blurred personal boundaries. That leads straight into the heart of one of the season's biggest storylines: the unraveling and rebuilding and unraveling again of Kyle and Dorit's friendship. Once inseparable, their bond has been rocked by misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and outside noise. This season, it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. At one point, Kyle draws a firm boundary and decides to cut ties with PK, refusing to speak with him after an escalating argument. That decision only deepens the divide between the two women. Dorit insists she is no longer the woman who bites her tongue and quietly absorbs tension. She says the days of sitting, swallowing, and smiling are over. But Kyle believes her reactions are coming from a place of deeper, more personal pain, not necessarily from anything Kyle herself did. That suggestion doesn't land well with Dorit, creating more friction. And into that friction steps Erika Jayne. This season, Erika gets pulled into the crossfire between the two women, insisting that the conflict affects her too. She intervenes, she comments, she pushes. But her involvement only intensifies the tension. Fans notice the strain between Kyle and Erika at BravoCon, and the season reveals exactly how and why that distance grew. But nothing shakes the group quite like the explosive argument that Kyle calls Amsterdam level. Longtime viewers remember the infamous trip to Amsterdam, a fight so intense it became one of the most iconic moments in RHOBH history. This season brings a confrontation with the same emotional weight, and this time it involves the people Kyle is closest to. During the blowout, Kyle accuses someone of lying on camera, and she delivers a line that immediately becomes a season-defining moment. "You're lying, and you know what doesn't lie? The cameras." She refuses to name the person behind the scenes, but she hints that they're a newer cast member, someone not fully versed in the reality TV rulebook. The cameras never forget. Meanwhile, Sutton Strack's arc unfolds in a deeply emotional way. Privately, Kyle describes Sutton as loving, supportive, funny, and genuinely sensitive. They talk for hours, share vulnerable stories, and trust each other completely. But the Sutton on camera doesn't always reflect the Sutton she knows behind the scenes. Sometimes, Sutton gets swept up in the chaos, influenced by other castmates or triggered by past emotional wounds. That disconnect frustrates Kyle, who wants the authentic, warm version of Sutton to shine through. By the looks of things, Sutton is trying. After a season full of self-reflection, transition, and personal change, she appears more self-aware than before. Though she still has unpredictable Sutton moments, the tension doesn't end there. Garcelle Beauvais stepped back from the group the previous season, leaving many unanswered questions. So when she said publicly that the only castmate she'd be friends with if the show didn't exist was Kyle, Kyle was stunned and a little hurt. Her response was simple. If that's true, why haven't you reached out to me? Amid all the returning faces, several new personalities shake up Beverly Hills. First up, fashion icon Rachel Zoe joins the cast, separated, reinventing her life and stepping into a different version of herself. Although Kyle had known her socially, she didn't know her deeply, and this season reveals a side of Rachel audiences have never seen before. Things get particularly interesting when Rachel shares that someone tried to set her up with Mauricio in Aspen. On top of that, Mauricio's recent dive into modeling sparks awkwardness for Kyle, who admits the photos feel weird and that they definitely wouldn't exist if they were still together. Next, Amanda, a young, wealthy new housewife, enters the picture. She bought Kyle's old home in Bel Air, and after fans attacked her online for renovating it, Kyle defended her publicly. That act of kindness created a bond between them, leading Amanda to lean heavily on Kyle as she entered the group. But her confidence and bluntness rubbed several cast members the wrong way. Then there's Natalie, another newcomer who arrives a bit overwhelmed, unsure how to navigate the complicated dynamics of Beverly Hills. She faces her own challenges adjusting to the group, but Kyle sees something in her and offers support. Of course, no season feels complete without the unpredictable, hilarious presence of Kathy Hilton. Kyle explains that sometimes she genuinely has no idea whether Kathy is joking, serious, or whispering some secret she forgot she's mic'd for. Their sister dynamic is chaotic, tender, confusing, and endlessly entertaining, especially for viewers. As for Kim Richards, she's thriving. She recently moved into a new place and is enjoying life with her grandchildren, giving fans a sense of comfort knowing she's in a good place. Amid all the shifting friendships and explosive drama, Kyle also reaches a major personal milestone, becoming a mother-in-law. Her daughter Alexia's wedding brings joy, humor, and sweet emotional moments into the season. Since Kyle didn't allow full production cameras at the wedding, viewers will see intimate footage captured on phones, raw, real, and filled with love. This season represents a full-circle moment for Kyle Richards. She has endured heartbreak, major life changes, personal loss, and emotional struggle. But now, she feels lighter. She feels ready. She feels free. Yet with the season airing, all the hard moments she lived once, she must live again. The fights, the betrayals, the interviews she hasn't seen yet, the confessionals that always stir the pot, the words she said in anger or pain. She admits she's already annoyed watching certain scenes back, and the season hasn't even fully unraveled yet. But through it all, one thing is clear. Season 15 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is not just another chapter. It is a rebirth for Kyle, for her friendships, and for the entire cast of Beverly Hills.